My goodness, what's that? Haven't we seen this somewhere before?
Yes, dear. I wonder whose it was.
Oh, Maleficent!
No, we mustn't remember her name. Oh, dear.
She was a mean old witch. Oh, no. The memories are coming back. What'll we do? Oh, what'll we do?
Goodness me.
Oh,
This is
whatever
very,
shall we
very
do?
bad.
Perhaps we should tell Master Yen Sid.
Yes, that's what we must do. Hurry.
Maleficent!
Good evening, everyone. I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Oral Reports. Tonight, we're going to return to the world of Sleeping Beauty to talk about the legendary Disney villain who's been a real childhood nightmare ever since I was 3 years old, Maleficent. If you may recall, I blogged Maleficent's live-action movie from 2014, and despite a few hiccups, I thought it was a very interesting film, and it certainly did a better job at a villain's backstory than Rob Zombie's Halloween. But, on the other hand, it does not top my feelings for Walt Disney's classical 1959 film Sleeping Beauty, which just turned 60 years old this year. Plus, as I previously stated, Maleficent has been appearing not only at the Disney parks, but in other medias like Descendants, The House of Mouse, Once Upon a Time, even Kingdom Hearts. However, I never thought I'd see the day when the Mistress of all evil would receive her own live-action sequel. So, let's get on with it. Released on October 18th, 2019, the movie is Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. So, let's get started. When Aurora and Philip are engaged to be married, Maleficent encounters a conniving queen who hatches a devious plot to destroy the land's fairies. Hoping to stop her, Maleficent joins forces with a seasoned warrior and a group of outcasts to battle the queen and her powerful army to protect the Moors and the magical creatures that reside within. So, what do I personally think of the movie? Well, like The Rise of Darkrai, this movie really surprised me, and I thought it was really epic. But, to further explain why I enjoyed the movie, let's move on to Mustang notes. After the release of the first movie in May 2014, Angelina Jolie stated that a sequel was possible. The project was officially announced the following June, and Angelina Jolie signed on in April 2016. Joaquin Ronan, who directed Pirates of the Caribbean 5, was hired to direct the movie in October 2017. Filming took place at Pinewood Studios in England, lasting from May to August 2018. Now, what I like about this movie is that, like the first film, it brings back childhood memories of the original animated Sleeping Beauty movie. Also, I find it interesting that this movie takes place 5 years after Maleficent, since it was released about 5 years ago. Plus, while Maleficent did show a whole new side of her, this movie delves more into her character and the world this movie takes place in. Speaking of which, I do think the scenery in this movie looks absolutely breathtaking. Not only with the beautiful moors, but also the kingdom of Ulstead, which is where Prince Philip lives in this movie. Also, there's an underground cave where a group of beings known as the Dark Fae are hiding out. By the way, the Dark Fae are a powerful species of fairies that almost became extinct due to the human oppression. When I first saw them in one of the trailers, I thought to myself that I never thought there would be other beings like Maleficent, since all of them have horns and wings on them. As for the story, well, I thought it was dark and very thought-provoking at the same time. Plus, it was also very epic and emotional. And I did like the final battle and the wedding at the ending. Anyway, that's all I got for Mustang notes, so let's move on to the cast. Our title character, Maleficent, is once again played by Angelina Jolie, who not only serves as the film's executive producer, but she's also best known from Robert Zemeckis' Beowulf, along with DreamWorks' Shark Tale, and the Kung Fu Panda trilogy. To me, Angelina Jolie does a spot-on job playing Maleficent, though I'm still pretty jealous that her character has wings. I mean, seriously, I'm a royal Mustang prince and I can't even fly yet. Anyway, in this movie, Maleficent has gone from ruler to protector of the Moors, and after finding out that Aurora is engaged to Prince Philip, she feels a tad reluctant to give her goddaughter away. Also, I did feel that it was very interesting that Maleficent's bloodline is tied directly to a phoenix, which is said to be an ancient and a very powerful ancestor of the Dark Fae. Hence why Maleficent has, well, magic more powerful than the rest of her species. Speaking of which, I think Maleficent's phoenix form during the final battle is very reminiscent to her dragon form from the original 1959 movie. Next we have Maleficent's raven servant, Diaval, aka Diablo, played by Sam Riley. In my eyes, I still think Diaval is a very loyal character, despite the fact that he's not in his raven form as much as he was 5 years ago. But I thought it was really badass when he turned into a bear to save the fairies and the other Moor creatures from getting locked in the chapel. Princess Aurora is again played by Elle Fanning, who got to be in My Neighbor Totoro with her sister Dakota, along with Laika's The Box Trolls, Ballerina, aka Leap, and just recently, Teen Spirit. Aurora's role is similar, but different from the first film. I mean, yes, she's the queen of the Moors, and she's given her late father Stefan's castle to her people, but while she's engaged, she feels disillusioned by her new life as a noblewoman. However, one of the most thought-provoking scenes in this movie that she's involved in is when she wanders downstairs and finds the spinning wheel with the spindle that she pricked her finger on 5 years ago. However, as she was about to touch it, she saw a vision that made her realize the truth that Maleficent was framed. Aurora's fiancé, Prince Philip, is played by Harris Dickinson, who got to be in the Dark Crystal sequel, Age of Resistance. Now, despite the fact that his kiss didn't wake Aurora 5 years ago, I think Philip is an easygoing, trustworthy, fearless, and selfless prince. And I really liked the scene where he proposed to Aurora. Kind of reminds me of the time back in March 2013 when I witnessed one of my musical theater village friends, who's also named Aurora, being proposed to by her fiancé, now husband, Kenneth. Also, I liked the scene at the ending when Philip forged a peace pact with the fairies on behalf of the humans. Next we have our 3 good fairies, Knotgrass, Thistlewood, and Flittle, aka Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather, played by Imelda Staunton, Juno Temple, and Leslie Manville. Now, their roles in this movie aren't as big or important as they were in the first film. I mean, mostly they are seen as comic reliefs, and as wedding guests along with the other Moor creatures. However, I was heartbroken when Flittle, the blue fairy, made a selfless sacrifice to stop Gerda from using an organ with crimson powder to kill them. Also, I found it pretty funny and nostalgic when Knotgrass and Thistlewood were color fighting during Aurora and Philip's wedding. Next we have Philip's father, King John, played by Robert Lindsay. Now, in the original Sleeping Beauty, Philip's father was named Hubert, who, along with Aurora's father Stephen, betrothed their children to wed. Anyway, in my opinion, I think John is a very proud king, and I like that he seeks to establish peace between Ulstead and the Moors. Queen Ingrid, who happens to be the real villain of the movie, is played by Michelle Pfeiffer, best known from Batman Returns, The Prince of Egypt, Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas, the 2007 Hairspray movie, Tim Burton's Dark Shadows, and last year's Ant-Man and the Wasp. At first, Ingrid seems very welcoming towards Aurora and Maleficent, but later, it is revealed that, out of deep hatred, Ingrid has been secretly plotting to eradicate all the fairies and woodland beings by forging iron weapons and inventing a crimson powder that can instantly kill them. And her motivation for being a villainous queen is due to the tragic death of her brother, who she believed was killed by one of the enchanted forest creatures. And I really didn't like what she does throughout this movie. I mean, it was bad enough that she provoked Maleficent during dinner with iron silverware, as well as declaring Aurora as her own daughter, but she framed Maleficent by stabbing her own husband with a spindle? That's just plain devious. Next is Bora, one of the Dark Fae leaders, played by Ed Skrein, who got to be in Deadpool, and Alita, Battle Angel. This character seeks war with the humans, and he views Maleficent as key to their success. But after getting spared by Philip, Bora becomes a good-natured character. But my favorite character in this sequel is Connell, played by Chiwetel Ejiofor, who got to be in the terrible 2012 movie, along with Doctor Strange, Sherlock Gnomes, and the 2019 Lion King remake. The reason why I like Connell is, well, because I think he's a very strong, fearless, heroic, and kind character. Plus, he rescued Maleficent from drowning after she was shot by an iron bullet. Plus, I find it interesting that Connell has been observing the Dark Fairy for some time now. And I like that he's, well, shall we say, an advocate for peace between men and fairies. And now for my final words. Overall, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, was a very excellent movie. The story was not only dark and thought-provoking, but it was also very epic. And I liked that the movie delved deeper into Maleficent's character as a Dark Fae. Also, several other characters like Aurora, Philip, Diaval, and the Good Fairies were very memorable to me. Plus, while some parts did bring back memories from Sleeping Beauty, there were a few surprises here and there, and I thought that the final battle was very incredible, but intense at the same time. What's more, there were some moments that both tugged at my heart and made me shed a tear. So, am I recommending this movie to you folks? Absolutely. But I wouldn't recommend little kids to see this movie on their own due to a few scary and dark moments. So, my rating for this movie will be a 99% out of 100. Well, that's all for tonight. Be sure to tune in for my next episode, where we go to a special nightclub hosted by Mickey Mouse. However, we're going to have to wait until the weekend, because, for now, I need to get ready for a special pink carpet event in Los Angeles. Mustang Power!